I was only 14 years old when my own father, a man revered by our entire town, a deacon in the church, a man who donated to charity and smiled at children in the street, began touching me in ways no daughter should ever be touched in this life. His hands, rough from years of carpentry, would slide under my nightgown when he thought the house was asleep, his breath hot against my neck, whispering that this was our secret, that good girls didn't tell. But the worst wasn't what he did to me. It was the night I turned 15, when I woke to the sound of creaking floorboards and saw his shadow slinking down the hallway toward the small bedroom where my little sister, Lily, slept. She was only 8 years old, still clutching her stuffed rabbit, still believing the world was kind. That was the moment something inside me shattered. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. Instead, a cold, deliberate clarity settled over me, like ice water trickling down my spine. He needed to die. Not in a burst of rage, not in some impulsive act of violence, but carefully, methodically, in a way that would ensure he could never hurt her, never touch either of us again. ####. The plan. For weeks I watched him, studied his routines, learned his habits. Every Sunday without fail, he would go hiking alone in the woods behind our house, carrying his old metal flask, the one engraved with his initials. He filled it with bitter black coffee, but he thought no one knew about the small glass bottle of whiskey hidden in his jacket pocket, the one he sipped from when he thought he was alone, just enough to make him careless. One evening, while he snored drunkenly in his armchair, I slipped into his study. The room smelled of leather and tobacco, the shelves lined with books he never read. There, tucked between a volume on taxidermy and a dusty field guide on local wildlife, I found it. Poisonous Plants of the Eastern Woodlands. The pages were filled with his messy handwriting, notes in the margins, underlines beneath certain passages. And then I saw it. A page torn at the corner describing a mushroom that grew near the riverbank. Amanita bisparigera, the text read. Commonly known as the destroying angel. Extremely lethal if ingested. Symptoms delayed by 14 to 24 hours. Nausea, vomiting, followed by acute liver failure. No known antidote. Beneath it in his scrawl. Asterisk found near oak groves late summer. Asterisk ####. The execution. The next Sunday I followed him. He took his usual path, whistling as he walked, stopping at his favorite spot, a fallen log near the riverbank. He unscrewed his flask, took a long sip, then grimaced at the taste of stale coffee. With a sigh, he turned toward the stream to refill it. That was my moment. My fingers trembled as I crushed the white caps of the mushrooms into his coffee, stirring them with a twig until they dissolved into nothing. Then I vanished into the trees before he could turn around. ####. The aftermath. 2 days later, he collapsed in the kitchen, clutching his stomach. His face turned ashen, sweat pouring down his temples as he gasped for air. My mother screamed for an ambulance, but by the time the doctors arrived, his skin had yellowed, his eyes bloodshot with pain. Acute liver failure, they said, shaking their heads. Tragic. So sudden. No one suspected a thing. At his funeral, the church was packed. People wept, calling him a good man, a devoted father, a pillar of the community. I stood there in my black dress, my sister's small hand clutched in mine, feeling nothing but the weight of silence. That night, for the first time in years, Lily slept without crying. And for the first time in my life, I breathed freely.